Everybody, Patty Ann here again today. Remember that I told you I was going to show you some more stuff about using envelopes the other day? Well, today is the day. I've got some fun things to show you, and then if by any chance you also have Stitch Artist Level 1 and Essentials, remember I said Essentials is essential. That's the first thing I recommend you get. After that, you might want to get Stitch Artist Level 2 if you like messing with stuff like this. So let's look at my screen. First, I'll show you how to use the envelopes no matter what part of Embrilliance you have. And then after that, I'll quickly just give you a little smidgen of what you can do in Stitch Artist with the envelopes by creating your own. So let's look at my screen and get started. Okay, here we are in Embrilliance, and remember you can use the envelopes in any form of Embrilliance that you have, whether it be Essentials or Enthusiast, whatever you might have, the envelopes will work. At the end of this, as I said, I'm going to show you how, if you have Stitch Artist, I believe it's level 1, it is level 1, you're going to be able to make your own envelopes, but that'll be at the very end. Right before we get started, I want to refresh your memory how to get things into your library, because your library is where you're going to find your envelopes. Remember, up here is this little gear with an arrow facing down that says Merge Design. That's your library. It says Merge from your library. So right now you'll see I have envelopes right here, and I showed you in the previous video, which I'll have linked at the top somewhere, how to do this. I also have the link down below of where you can grab these if you don't have them yet, and also where you can grab this. Check this out. Now, these aren't envelopes, but I'm just going to show you how to put this into your library, because this might be something that you would like to have as well, especially with St. Patrick's Day coming up. And of course, it's a 4-leaf clover, I believe. It's a clover. It's a lucky thing. Let me show you. We'll go right here. Okay, so here it is. Lucky Stitches. It's a 4-leaf clover. So you could use this for St. Patrick's Day, or you could use it for any time of year, just lucky this or that. And you can switch it up a little bit. But what you'll do, this is the same process you'll use for putting the envelopes in. Just click download the Lucky Stitches library. I'm using a Windows machine, so it came right down here. I'll double click to open it. Then I have to go to Extract All, and I leave this the way it is because I want it to come in right where I want it to be, or right where it always is in my downloads folder. And I'll leave this checked so it will show the extracted files when complete. So I'll say Extract. Okay, this one in front is the extracted files. The one behind it I can get rid of. I can also reopen up Embrilliance. Okay, and I can get rid of this. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to open up Embrilliance. I'm also going to reopen up my my files, and there it is, the extracted one, the Lucky Stitches, sorry. All I have to do is take that and drag it over, and notice my cursor changes and it has a plus sign. That means it's going to put it right there. But before I do, let me move this over so you can see what it says when I move this. Okay, it says Lucky Stitches has been installed in Shared Project Blog. Okay, say okay, and delete this. So all I have to do now is come back to this gear and use this drop-down menu right here in the catalog. I may have a lot more things than you do because I've been downloading for a while, but I'm going to go to right down here to where it says Shared Project Blog. Click on that. And in here, there's some other things I've already downloaded, but here are the Lucky Stitches, which I can just open right here in my program. But we're not working with that today, so let me X that out and say no. And so what we're working with today are the envelopes. I did this, but of course, people might be watching this when it's not Easter time, so I decided to do something else. So let's go to a new page, which you just come right up here, new, and I'm going to come up here to the little gear with the arrow. Remember, Merge Design. It says Merge Design from the library. It opened where I was last, but that's not where my envelopes are. So I'm going to use this drop down menu and look where it says Embrilliance Envelopes. Click on that. And here are all the envelopes that you get. So I showed one the other day in the sample. Today I'm going to show one with a 3 position. Okay. And I don't know what I'm going to put in here, so I guess I'll just decide something right quick. I probably wouldn't do a badge or a thing like this for myself, but I'm just going to show you how it's done. So the first thing I do is I look over here and I see that there's envelope 13, 14, and 15. Then the satin borders. So let's watch that. So if we go to the Stitch Simulator, it's going to do all of the satin borders. And then it's done. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put something in here. What I think I'll do is I think I'll do Pittsburgh Steelers rock, because I was from Pittsburgh and I like the Steelers. So I'll come up here to create letters. Remember, it always puts the ABC in. I'll come over here to where it says text and type in the word Pittsburgh. I like to do this all in caps because I think it looks sort of good. Pittsburgh. Okay, there it is, Pittsburgh. And I'm going to, after the letters word, remember, I'm going to put a number after that to coincide with which one of these envelopes, these little thin lines are the envelopes, into which one I want it to go. If I click on number 13, okay, that's where I want it to be, envelope 13. So since I want this in envelope 13, I have to label this letters 13. So I double click on this until I can go to the end and put in a 13 and hit enter. And that popped it right up there. Now let's see, I'm not sure if I have to make it smaller myself. When I click off, let's see if it fits. Oh, perfect. So you don't even have to mess with the sizing. Pittsburgh, and then I think I'll make that color of that be something different. So I can click on that, come over here, down here to where it says color, change it to maybe a gold. So right now it says sort by color. I'm going to sort by name. Okay, there's only 2 colors in this because this is what's in my current palette. But I want to be able to view all the threads. So I'm going to put in here gold. And now it's going to come up with a gold for me. Click on that and say okay. And once again, if I click off, it's going to fit in there perfectly. The next one I'm going to do is I'm going to put Steelers in here. So again, I'll come up here. The ABC comes in automatically. Change that to Steelers. And I'm going to put it in this one right here. If I'm not sure which one that is, I can click it over here and it highlights the one. So it's obviously envelope 14. And I really could have told that because look at envelope 15. You can see its shape over here. So I want Steelers to go in envelope 14. Remember, that's this little line in here. It's going to fit within there. So after the word letters, I need to put a 14. And enter. And it sticks it right in there. Not the way I want it to be yet, though, until I click somewhere over here. Perfect. I'm going to change the color of that now. And I guess I'll change it to gold also. So I'm going to go to color, click on this color swatch, and right now I could go through all of these and look, but if I want to use the exact color I've already used, just go to palettes, and there's the gold I already used. Say okay, click off, perfect. Okay, the last thing I was going to put is rule. I don't know, when my kids were little, they used to say girls rule and boys drool or whatever, or boys rule. So we're going to say the Pittsburgh Steelers rule. I'm going to click on the text tool up here, come over here, change the text to rule, R-U-L-E, hit enter, and obviously look up here. I'm going to fit this into envelope 15. So what do I have to do now? make this a 15 because I want it to go in envelope 15. So it's going to be letters 15, enter. Okay, it's in the right spot, but it's not at all right until I click off. And look at that. How cool is that, right? And I could make that the same gold if I want to. Well, I need to click on it to highlight it, go to color, and make it the gold if I'd like. Pittsburgh Steelers rule. I could do that. And of course, if this is going to be, let's look and see. So what's going to happen first, if I'm going to do this on some fabric, I could imagine that there's some fabric behind this. Maybe I was going to put it on white fabric and that would look really cool. The other thing is that you could do, let's go to another page. Let's just say, I want to do happy birthday, but I'm not going to type it all out. But let's say, oh, yeah, let's do that. Let's do happy birthday on this one. I'm going to double click on that. Okay, so what I want to do is, there's only one envelope here, but I want to put happy birthday. I wonder if that will work. Let's try it. Come up here to the text tool. Over here, right now we have it on a single line of text. If I want 2 lines of text, I have to go ahead and click on this that says multi-text lines. So I'm going to say happy birthday. Okay, whoa, wowzers. Happy birthday. And I'm going to say, or set like that. Now, as I said, I want this to go on this little banner that I'm going to put on here. Or maybe it could have said birthday girl. And so I could change what I would need to do now. What have we learned? There's an envelope number. There's the envelope, this little line. I want to put this into that envelope. What envelope? Envelope number 1. So I want to put the letters in envelope number 1. Hit enter on my keyboard. Okay, that looks like junk. Don't get scared yet. Hit this. Look at that. Perfect. All right. Suppose that you're liking that. But you want these letters to be stitched out in different colors. So you want it to stop after the H, stop after the A and the P, so you can change your thread colors. So let me show you how easy that is. So here we have the word happy. And notice when I double click on this, there's these little green boxes, right? When I click on the little green box, watch what happens. It puts this little down arrow and the up arrow. But the only box I want is the middle one. So I'm going to click off, click back on. I want this one right here. Because all I want, now notice, none of these other ones are dark. This is the only one's a dark color. This is the only one I've selected. So I can change its color by coming over here and maybe going to threads, change it to this pink and say okay. I can go to the next one. Notice it's highlighted or selected. Can you see how they're changing when I click on the middle only? Okay, so I'm going to change that color. Let's change it to orange. Okay, perfect. Go to the next one. Click on just this block. Click the color chip. Go down here and get something else. Okay. Click on the next one. Click on here. And so on. Let's see. There's a green. Okay. And maybe a blue. Click on this. If I don't want to have to scroll all the way through these, remember I can go to name and type in the word blue. Hit enter. And it'll come up with a blue. And if I don't like that blue, I can keep clicking on go, and it finds other blues for me. Okay, so there you can see how easy it is to do that. And so on. And I could go through this. Now if I already have enough colors to use, an easy way again to do this, click on the eye and click on the color chip here. And instead of scrolling all the way through this, I can just use the same colors that I already have in my palette by toggling this button on. And then I have all the colors I've already used. So I can begin, just going through them again like this. I could do this, click on the color, green, okay, click off, and so on. So that's just how cool it is that you can do this. I just love using these envelopes. Now, as I said, I told you at the end of this, I was going to show you how, if you have Stitch Artist Level 1, you can make your own envelope. So let's go to a new page by coming up here. Okay, and to be in Stitch Artist Level 1, you'll have this little thing right here, which allows you to go into create mode so you can create designs. I'm going to go into create mode, and I'm going to create a shape that I want my text to go into. So I just come right over here, draw with points. And the thing you need to remember when you're making your own, you always want to start in the upper left-hand corner of whatever it is you're drawing. So this is the upper left, suppose. I'm just going to start drawing around. And if I don't have my shift key down, notice how it's just making rounded edges. When I hold down shift, it's going to start making straight lines, right? So right now I'm getting close to the end. If I want to make sure that this red dot and this green dot end perfectly, all I need to do is come up here and click on this close open outline tomato. Some of us say it looks like a tomato. Watch what happens to this line right here when I click on the tomato. Perfect. Did you see? It went up here and closed it. But what I wanted to show you now is this. Right now we have something called line. I'm going to change its name to envelope. And you have to make sure you spell it right. I'll call it envelope 3, okay? Envelope 3. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some text. Come up here, and it comes in with the ABC, of course, as you know. I'll just type in my name and hit enter. Okay, it's still just text there. But now what I can do is I can change this to letters 3, enter. Notice what it did. It popped it right up inside that envelope. Once I click off, boo, it made it the design exactly the way I wanted it to be. And of course, I want to show you something else that you could do. Suppose you don't like the way that looks so much. I can come back up to create mode, and notice that puts these little circles, sometimes we call them nodes, all the way around this. Suppose I don't like the shape I made that well. With these little nodes, while you're in Stitch Artist Level 1, and I'll have a link for you down below. I believe it's on sale right now. But anyway, you can switch how this thing looks by simply adjusting these handles. And so if I want this A to be like that, or the N, I'm sorry. So anyway, that's some things that you can do. You can really change the shape of this if you needed to have this for some reason. Now I just chose this little bit of a goofy shape. You may not want anything like this shape. All right, so let me show you that one more time. So, and I'll show you what happens if you don't start in the upper left-hand corner. You always have to, kind of like the way you read, you know, from left to right, always start in the upper left and go. If I was to make another shape, say a rectangle, and I'm going to hold down my shift key so I have straight lines. Click, 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 click. Get the tomato to close it. So notice it closed, started and ended here. I'm going to call this envelope 5. Just willy-nilly chose 5. And now I'm going to go ahead and get some text. And I'm going to change this to letters 5. I think I'll put Patty Ann in there again. Okay, hit enter. Okay, it's not fitting in there yet, but when I do this, okay, what in the world happened there? Something is crazy, right? I can tell you what's crazy. You remember when I said you had to have your start and your stop up here? And I have it over here? That's what's happened. It's crazy because of that. Okay, so let me see if I can adjust that by coming to the Create tab, clicking on this. I'm going to try to see, oh, I know what I'm going to do. Let's get this out of here. Whoopsie. Let's go undo, undo, undo. Okay, so I'm going to go to Create mode, click on this, and then I'm going to click over here. What shall I do? Click here? Okay, so when I clicked over there, I went ahead and clicked on the tomato. So now this is the ending point. Let's see if it made a difference now. Let's take this, let's see. There we go. Oh yeah, look at that. So what I had to do was I had to move where my ending point was. I'm going to make a new envelope. So I'm going to come up here to create step by step. I'm going to start in the upper left hand corner. Shift, click, 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 click. Doesn't matter how much stuff I have. And then I'm going to use a tomato to end it. And now I'm going to call this envelope 6. Wait, was that? Okay. Where's Patty Ann? Oh, I'm going to call this envelope 6. Okay, and this is letter 6. And I'm not sure if this has to be move last. I think I have to name this envelope 6. Okay, so there it is. So when I clicked it, let me move it. So when you have a when you have Stitch Artist Level 1, you get this little thing here, which is to select objects. So if I wanted to select this and move it, notice I was having a chime before. I need to get the arrow to be able to select it first. I can bring it right here. So now, if I want to, I can bring it up here, like that, and when I click off, it's going to fit in there perfectly. I hope this made sense. I think that part might have been a little bit confusing. I will have linked below this video another video where I also show how to use Stitch Artist to make your own envelopes. Okay, this is just so I can show you one other cute thing that you can do with Stitch Artist Level 1. Let's assume that this is Stitch. These are Stitch files, right? And I want to add Sweet Dreams in here in these clouds. So in order to do that fairly easily with Stitch Artist Level 1, I can do an envelope. So I'm going to come up here to Create mode, come over here to the one that says Draw with Points. I'm going to start right here on the left-hand side and start drawing with some points. Now I like to stay about 1/4 of an inch away from the edge. And I'm going to go ahead and get the tomato to finish that. Okay, so since this is done right now, I'm going to call this, instead of line 1, or line, let me delete this one, that was an extra. I'm going to name this to envelope 2, because I've already done envelope 1 where it says sweet. So envelope 2. So I've already written in the letter dreams so that you didn't have to watch me do all that. And it's right here, it's letters, but I want to name it letters 2 because I want it to fit in envelope 2. So I'm going to change it to letters 2 and hit enter, and that drops it right down there. When I click off, there it goes right inside there. Now it's a little bit cockeyed, so I can mess with the nodes again. Remember we talked about those before. So if I come back up here to create mode and click down here, I can get those nodes and begin working with them. So hopefully you can see the nodes that I'm talking about, these little circles right here. There's the end point, so I can take these little nodes and drag them around a little bit. That'll help my lettering tremendously. Did you see how that already did? So you can really shape it so that it fits better inside of the shape that you have if you want. See, if you double click, you can even add a node if you need. And these little black ones allow you to go up and down like this. See that? It's like a little handle. All right, let's click off and see how that looks. And let's go back out and check it out. All right, isn't that cute? Now I want to tell you one more thing. If these little lines right here are bothering you, the little line, see that? That's not going to stitch at all. But if that bothers you to see that, you can come up here to Envelopes 2 now. I can click on that and I can come up here to this little lock that's sort of clear looking. When you hover over it, it says lock and hide. I can hide that, click off, and now that thing is hidden. If I want to see Envelope 2 again, that little design, just come up here and unlock it, click off, and there it is again. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thanks so much for joining me. Check out the links down below and the links that will come at the end of this video. I'll have even the whole playlist of all kinds of things about Embrilliance. So be sure to check that out because I have tons of videos in there. So again, thanks for joining me. If you're in the market to buy something, please use my links down below because it helps support Patty Ann's Place. I thank you so much. Bye for now.